So this is for the AI. I am a black female speaking in this video. Um, I just want to like point something out and give a little bit more context as to why I said in one of my previous videos that I've scaled back tremendously as far as showing support and endorsing dark-skinned black women in general. In this video, I'm going to explain some of the reasons why. Number one, you would get attacked from all types of black people, but I don't know if I explained this. Sometimes you would get attacked the most by other dark-skinned black women, especially if they're the tokens, if they're the chosen tokens. Like, they be the main ones to come for your jugular. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times, like when you try to go hard in the paint and talk about, you know, as far as representation goes, some of the tokens you got those you got to watch out for. With that being said, I'm not really sure who's offended by me pointing out a thing and saying the love that we're seeing in the celebration and notoriety that we're seeing surrounding certain black females in the entertainment industry. And I'll say this till I'm blue in the face, but I'm not going to say it till I'm blue in the face. But I'm standing on this. I don't think in 2024, in this day and age, I don't think you would see them getting so much love and support and admiration and people leaving positive comments under their stuff. You know, if it weren't for the work that creative, independent black women have been doing who are not part of like the mainstream media, or they didn't start off as being from Hollywood. They may have started off with a web series about what it's like to be black and to be awkward. Or they may have had platforms showcasing beautiful dark-skinned women in shape. They may have wrote a book on how to date and expand your dating options to include other males, not just black males. They may have had cooking shows. They may have had, you know, black women in luxury shows showcasing all or mainly unapologetically dark-skinned black females. So, and I'm saying this because I remember how bad things was when I was in high school. This is before, you know, people decided to be a little bit more creative on YouTube and stuff like that. I remember it just seemed like, okay, as far as the entertainment industry is concerned, right? Especially let's say rap, for example. Let's talk about rap, for example. I graduated in 2009 from Arts High School. All right? I am here to tell you, around that time, in like 2009 and then 2010, 2011, 2012, it's absolutely no way that, I don't care how talented she was, that the industry by itself, without those social media platforms that uplift dark-skinned black females that came later and that popped off and became very popular, right? Without all of that, you wouldn't have seen a very dark-skinned girl with full features getting the love and notoriety and, you know, the opportunities and posting with celebrities that's, you know, bigger and been in the entertainment industry. You wouldn't have seen it. I don't care how talented she was. You wouldn't have seen it because nobody was putting in the work to make room for that type of representation. And the most popular black females entertainers, I mean, the big three, who I'm not going to name because I don't want no drama. Nobody gets to, and let me make this clear, nobody gets to choose the way they're born, right? So this is not me attacking any woman of African descent who looks racially ambiguous and who been like that for the most part all their life, right? You can't help the way that you was born, or that certain people in your family might be non-black, or you might be mixed or whatever, or you just, you just took after somebody that was light in your bloodline. You can't, it's not their fault. But it was a time where that look, that racially ambiguous look, was the standard. The same way it was a time where you could look at a lot of black male R&B videos and hip hop videos and rap videos, and for a time you didn't see any brown skinned women. You didn't see any black women for a time. For a time. You know what started to happen online? Black women started to complain. Some black women started saying, you know what, I'm going to create my own platform. I'm going to create my own series. I'm going to create my own show with my non-black husband, or I might just make a book or whatever, and this is going to be catered towards black females, or this is going to be specifically catered towards dark-skinned black females. Those became popular. Then you had, chicks making jokes in the car and stuff like that. And I think what Hollywood and even the music industry failed to understand, and they caught on later on, when they saw how these women started blowing up, joking in their car before they go pick their baby up from school, even coming out with a magazine just for dark-skinned black women, and or a show about a woman being awkward, and she's a dark-skinned black girl and she's socially awkward or whatever. Then the executives came from different entertainment genres. Like, okay, well, we see that you're doing numbers on YouTube with your show, or we see how popular your platform is, and we want to talk to you and offer you a seat at the table and da 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 da. And then certain platforms went from just being on YouTube to now they got to deal with HBO. Certain people got to deal with Wild 'N Out or whatever it was. Some people got books. Some people got cookware. Some beautiful dark-skinned women got cookware, or they got stuff showcasing how to keep your body right and eat healthy and da 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 da. Some black women got makeup deals. What happened? Like, it's not like it came from the dominant society. No, it was the other way around. It was the other way around. And what I'm trying to say for people who still might not understand, listen, I do not know these individuals. I am not affiliated with them and never have been. It would be akin to me saying we wouldn't have CC, we wouldn't have TT, we wouldn't have Tinashe, all these girls that's good at dancing and all that stuff, Tiana, whatever, if it weren't for Janet, Miss Jackson. She was the blueprint. Even the late Aaliyah, the beautiful Aaliyah, may she rest in peace. We don't get TT, we don't get CC, we don't get Aaliyah, we don't get Tinashe without a Janet Jackson. That's what I'm trying to say. And to bring home the point even further, I remember turning up with different types of black women, partying with different types of black women, and it was one that was like really, really dark. I'm talking about like almost the size of my speaker. I mean, almost the color of this speaker. Excuse me, not size, but color. She was very pretty. She almost put me in the mind of one of them beautiful Sudanese girls. And she was like, I don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, I'm getting a lot of invites. And a lot of brothers are showing me love all of a sudden. What she don't understand is a lot of that could be attributed to the platforms that showcase the baddest dark-skinned black women online. And then it's like, I remember one time, even Vogue, they came out with a magazine issue dedicated to black women. It sold out like hotcakes. And I didn't say it to her, but I told her, we was at a party. If you feel like you wasn't getting a whole lot of love, maybe 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and you are all of a sudden, maybe it's what's happening on social media platforms. There's black women that you don't see and that you don't know. They're putting in a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears, and doing the work to normalize what you have to bring to the table, or they're the work that they're doing is making people more comfortable embracing whatever it is that you bring, whether you're, rapping, acting, cooking, or you might do, have a channel that teaches sisters how to be more classy, you know what I'm saying, and how to be more feminine. But what they tend to do is they choose black women that are very, very talented. Like or even if they're doing comedy, let's just say that, they might not look like a video vixen, but they good at what they do. They're putting in the work, and you might not be able to connect the dots, but they're actually humanizing sisters like you. Especially the platforms that have dark-skinned girls dating various types of guys. Not only black males. So, believe it or not, and this might sound kind of weird, but even some black women in the BWE actually, touched on this. It's certain dark-skinned women that, where they come from, a lot of the guys didn't pay them no mind. A lot of the brothers wasn't beat for them. It wasn't until they saw them with Spanish men or Asian men or white men, especially with white men, then and only then did they feel a little bit comfortable trying to, talk to them or flirt with them. But it took for them to see them. It's almost like they felt like it was taboo to approach those girls because they was dark. And some of it could come from shame and all the negative things they've been told about dark-skinned women over the years growing up. Maybe they come from a colorist family. You understand what I'm saying? And so they would have been too embarrassed to bring a dark-skinned woman home, right? But it's almost like her being with a white man kind of humanized her or made it normal. You understand what I'm saying? So I think something similar could be applied to these platforms who have been putting in the work to showcase talented black women, whether it be themselves and or other black women that they don't know. Even Divine Dark Skin. Well, the page is not active, but there was also a magazine. By the way, I'm not affiliated with the creator or whatever. We don't know each other. You know what I'm saying? Even if somebody go and dig up the archives and see where I left comments, or it was a disagreement or something silly that was said, I don't know folks. But that ain't even the point that I'm trying to say. The Divine Dark Skin, it showcased the baddest brown and black women from mostly from the United States, mostly within the United States. The baddest. I'm talking about chicks that's like 8, 9s, and 10s. And it was very strategic. Know why? Because you had a lot of famous people with their entertainment platforms that had stopped doing that or never did it to begin with. They weren't putting the baddest brown and dark skinned women in their music videos or as the lead role in a movie. Let's just say it was a movie or a sitcom. And even the TV shows got so crazy with the colorism that, a lot of them had a dark-skinned father, a dark-skinned son. Sometimes the mother might have been light-skinned and the daughter usually was biracial. And that's not a very, very common phenomenon in many African-American households. Generally speaking, or typically, if one of the kids is mixed, then all the kids might come out looking mixed, even if they are not exactly the same shade of brown. But it's like, how do you have two fully black parents, a whole black son and a daughter that's mixed. Now, I was around in the 90s. Like I remember Family Matters. I remember Steve Urkel. I remember the family, the siblings looking very, very, you know what I'm saying? And I hate to bring up Fresh Prince and Aunt Viv and all, like, you know what I'm saying? But even that, like, that kind of bothered me when they got rid of the dark-skinned auntie. And it's not that I had anything against the light-skinned one. I related more to the dark-skinned one. I said this before. The women in my family are different shades. I love them. Even if they didn't always, have the best advice or didn't have the most encouraging words to me, or maybe, let's just say they could have been lighter than me and didn't know how to, sit me down and talk to me on ways to navigate this society if I ever find myself having to deal with colorism. As particularly any type of like anti-black bigotry within my own race. Maybe they didn't have the knowledge or the education or whatever it was, right? People don't choose how they're born. They don't choose their parents. They don't choose how they're created. Now, if people grow up and decide they want to change their hair texture and skin color and da-da-da, that's their business. But I'm talking about the way you're born naturally, the way you are naturally, right? So you can't fault people for, However, if you see that there is a lack of representation and there is obviously a void, there's a lot of girls and women who have started to notice, like, wow, like, the love interest never looks like me. In certain movies and shows, the love interest, even if she is black, she never has my hair texture. She never has my phenotype. Or let's just say it's a music video. Like, you know what I'm saying? And things started to change maybe like 5-10 years ago, but I don't think that was just happenstance. I think people started to pay attention to a lot of complaints online. And people, some sisters started saying, listen, stop pouring into cups that overwhelmingly don't pour into yours. If you're a dark-skinned woman, full features, and you feel like the representation is not there, or it's the wrong type of representation, it's like real stereotypical, it's real colorist, it's real racist. Don't attack people that don't look like you. You know what I'm saying? But also don't kiss people, don't kiss they behind for a seat at the table. Build your own table. Build your own platform, and people that rock with you, they'll come. If you good at comedy, they'll come. Singing, dancing, they'll come to you. Painting, cooking, they'll come. You'll find your niche. Sometimes if it's a void, you know what I'm saying? You got to go ahead and create it. Whatever you want to see, whatever you envision, whatever you dream about. Sometimes you got to be the change. Almost like a few years ago, I don't think without somebody fans, you know what I'm saying? Even though a lot of people don't mess with me and they've backed off away from me, and I understand. I get it. I'm the odd, out. I'm a TI. I'm not very likable. Some people don't trust me. Whatever. Right? But it's certain performances that you don't get from a few years ago without certain people, making a big deal, making a big fuss behind the scenes and online. Or without me straight up saying, like, listen, if you look like certain sisters, that's not, that you feel like they're at a disadvantage and you feel like they're being poorly represented or they're not getting the opportunities that they deserve, right? If you feel like they look like they could be from your tribe or in your family, guess what? Don't argue with people. Don't beg for this. Don't beg for that. Stop watching. You don't have to watch. You don't have to watch. They want your views. They want you to tune in. They want you to buy whatever they're selling. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to buy it. And that was a big deal. And personally, for real, any dark-skinned female that's offended by everything that I just said, I really think you need to, get your head examined or something. Because some of the very talented dark-skinned women, you know how they got their start? Videos on YouTube, videos on Facebook, or platforms that was created, that was catered specifically to them, that showcase talented and beautiful brown and dark-skinned women that look like them. It didn't come from Hollywood. It didn't come from these music executives. No, they came later. Like, oh yeah, she got a large following. Every time she get in her car and crack jokes or whatever, look how many views and hits and comments and reposts and shares and likes she's getting. Or such and such just created a book for black women and how to be more feminine and how to date different types of men. Look how much commentary and likes and views and clicks and Or look at this woman. Look how her magazine for dark-skinned black women sold out. It completely sold out. Look at her platform on Facebook. Look at the feedback. Look at the views, and you know what I'm saying? And then you started to see commercials with black women and non-black men. Then you had Olivia Pope, played by Kerry Washington. The name of the show escapes me. There was a void. Even with How to Get Away with Murder, there was a void. And people just didn't care or they failed to understand that it's young sisters that they can relate to a woman that looked like Kerry Washington. They can relate to Viola Davis. They can relate to the dark-skinned Aunt Viv as well. Black women are not a monolith. Black girls are not a monolith. I don't care what nobody say. Without the complaints about these colorist TV shows or how the music videos used to be colorist and without some black women saying, you know what, screw this, to hell with, I'm gonna create my own lane, but I'm gonna do it for women that look like me, right? Without all of that, and people like, yeah, I want to see such and such perform, I don't think you would get people being more openly and welcoming, more welcoming. That's what I was looking for, and embracing certain sisters with welcoming arms. Without all of that, it'd be how it was 15, 20 years ago, with just one type of representation dominating everything. And I don't know, Issa. We not. Listen, we're not affiliated. We never have been. But even she said that when HBO approached her, they wanted to take the main character and switch her with a light-skinned actress, and she was like, "No, it's going to take away from the essence of what I created." And a lot of sisters might not even appreciate that anyway. They're going to feel let down, almost like when Disney tried it with Princess Tiana. They did a movie. Was it? They had, I don't know. They had a ad with all the Disney princesses, and in this particular ad, excuse me, I'm getting a tongue twister. They made Tiana look more racially ambiguous. Now, if we had more representation and more black Disney characters, I don't think it would have been a big deal. But at the time, she was the only original dark-skinned black Disney character. And what type of message would you be sending to dark-skinned girls? That it's something wrong with them if they dark-skinned? And they would look better if they look more racially ambiguous? When there's a lack of representation, you don't do that. You don't do that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Because what you're going to do is create a void. And people that fell in love with that original character or that original platform for everything that it was worth, well, you might let them down. They might feel disappointed. Stop that. Recording. They might feel disappointed. They might feel let down. They might feel left out. Or they might get the message that they're not good enough. I don't know who's offended by that.